Hi Stoughton, this is Steve Cavey, selectman for the town of Stoughton. Today is Tuesday, July 16th, 2019. I just wanted to give you guys an update on tonight's meeting. It was not too bad. It's just about 10 o'clock, and so not a very long meeting compared to some that we've had, but I think we can go over the highlights pretty quickly. Just before I go on, I want to remind everybody down below in the description section, you can find links to the town website where you can get agendas, minutes when they're available. There's also a link to Stoughton Media Access Corporation, where if you want to watch the entire meeting, you can find it there. And there's a link to an anonymous suggestion site. For me, nobody's left a comment in a little while, but whenever I see them, I read them. They're very helpful. People have great suggestions and ideas. So if you have anything you want to share, please comment below. So we'll start off with go through the agenda. Really, we'll start off with we opened it. There's some citizen comments. There was just one from a fellow named David Laurie. He had some comments about suggestions about managing the budget. That I will definitely be meditating on. So we had also a town manager's report. There were a lot, so I'm not gonna be able to go over everything, but I'll kind of pick some highlights. Last town meeting, I think during the fall town meeting, there was a special town meeting in 2018. One of the capital items that the town agreed to purchase was a new phone system for the town. This was deemed necessary because the old one was included. There's a lot of issues, but they included parts for the phones and for the system from companies that no longer exist. So it was antiquated, and repairs were getting exorbitant because you kind of had to like go on eBay to find pieces for these things, and it was difficult to maintain. There were outages some seemed to have been somewhat risky, if I understood it correctly. I think the phones didn't work at all, so there was no access to fire, EMS, stuff like that. So I might have misunderstood that, so don't quote me on it. But I do remember we had a lot of arguments about discussions. I should say there were a lot of arguments about what the pros and cons of it, and the town chose to purchase this phone system. These systems are already in place as part of the construction costs for the new high school. I think also the library already had them. So now the entire municipal government is going to all be linked up on the same phone system. So that looks like that happened today. So all of the towns are all together now on one new phone system. Wednesday the 24th, so next week, Wednesday the 24th, at the Randolph Savings Bank. There's going to be a meeting from 6 to 8 p.m. Regarding the best use for that building. There were a number of surveys. People have been filling out surveys to help Town Hall understand how folks want to use that site specifically. So there was just close to 500 surveys that have been completed. All of the findings are going to be brought before everybody on that day, so Wednesday the 24th. There's a reminder that the train depot sale was complete. With that came 30 plus parking spaces. Also, we have a new town planner. He is running a survey on the housing production plan. If you have not taken that survey, please do. I'll see if I can link it below. I might be a bit of a day lag because I've got to track it down, but I think it's also on the town website. I've seen it floating around social media. So, and if you would like a physical copy of it, just reach out to the town manager's office, and they'll provide you a printed out copy of it as well. So let's see what else. The police. So this is huge. So the police just removed another illegal firearm off the streets of our town. Year to date, that they've removed 11 illegal firearms from the streets. So thank you to the police for doing that, for the hard work. and protecting us. So that's huge. People may have already seen it. There's construction that's begun through the downtown. I think it's starting closer to the library. I want to say I forget the name of the street now, but it's down past the library. They're starting some sidewalk construction, signaling. They're going to be putting lights in here and there, going all the way down through the downtown. So it started last week, and during the course of several weeks, the contractor's going to be moving north into the downtown. So you'll start to see a lot of that work taking place, and lights we're going to be put up in some of the cross sections where it's pretty dangerous. Like I think there's one at Lincoln and Park, right in the corner of where the library is. I take that all the time to try to get around the downtown traffic. I usually pop out on that side, and it can be difficult to turn, and so that causes a lot of accidents. So that'll be signalized, but there's other things as well. But the sidewalks are also all being updated. That was funded, I think, by a state grant. Town received. Let's see what else we have. Turn off the lights. Oh, I don't have it on me, but so the high school. I think I want to say it's next Saturday. I might have the date wrong. Is going to be closing down. They're allowing people some time to go through and tour the building. I think it's like 1 or 2 hours. That's coming up. We talked quite a bit actually about some parking issues in the town. Some neighborhoods, in particular, that have come up where people are have brought to the attention of the town. I want to say complaining, but they've just helped us to understand that there are some streets where their parking is allowed, but the streets themselves are very, very narrow, and so they're asking if we could take a look to see if that's appropriate. The town manager has asked, I think it's DPW and also town police to take a look and provide an assessment of some areas. Selectman Joe McCrisky also had some other areas that he has brought before the selectmen that he also wants to see some movement on as well. And related to that, we've had issues with people bringing things to the attention of town hall, to the town manager, to the board of selectmen that haven't gotten to us one way or another. They've somehow, issues have come up and they've just slipped through the cracks. I think everyone's patient and understands that happens sometimes, on the one hand. On the other hand, it's really incumbent upon us to not have that happen without a very good reason. And to the extent that it does, we've got to find a solution so it doesn't happen anymore. The town manager has started is implementing a new process for sort of tracking issues that are coming before the town manager, the board of selectmen, other departments. As people become aware of an issue, they'll be able to set up a tracker for it. They'll have ID information, status, stuff like that, all those types of things we want to know. And in that case, if there's something that you're trying to keep track of, an issue on your street, a pothole, whatever it might be, those are maybe not as serious, but maybe there's something very serious, and then you've asked for some information on, and you'd be able to get in touch with folks at town hall and say, this is the issue. Maybe this is the tracker number for it. This is the issue ID. Can you give me an update? And people would be able to pull that up quickly, so make your life a lot easier. So we're working on that as well. I'm taking longer than I thought, so I moved through the rest of it a little bit quicker. But those were the all town manager comments and selectmen comments. On the agenda there was a Memorial Square dedication. That wasn't ready yet, so we didn't address that tonight. There was an appointment for a constable that was unanimously approved. Public Safety Building Committee appointment. There's a fellow named Joseph Palermo who has worked on the library building committee. And now that building's up and running, it looks great. People are pretty happy about it, about the project and the efficiency of the project. The public safety building is looking to find some of those people who now have some free time and see if they will help with this new project, so we can use the expertise and the learn, all they've learned through that process. It can be applied to new projects, and so we can really take advantage of volunteers and their knowledge. So he was going to be appointed, asked to be appointed to the public safety building. We try to keep the numbers odd on those, so that there's never I guess there's always a vote that kind of decides it, right? So you never end up with a tie vote. And so to even that out, we added a second person who was Selectman Christine Howe, who's worked. She's on the Board of Selectmen, but she's also been on the high school building committee and has been involved in that since the very beginning. So we're looking to get their input. Both those votes were unanimous, and so they're now on those committees, and I'm sure they'll do a great job. With the high school building committee, we're required to have the procurement officer as a member of that committee. That's how it was set up, and our current procurement officer is going to be leaving us very soon. So we made an appointment for the interim procurement officer to take her place. So that was I might have mispronounced her last name, but it's Fran Brutinetti. Sorry, Brutinetti. I shouldn't have done that. I should have read it ahead of time. But she's been with the town for a very long time, does an amazing job, and so I'm sure she's gonna be very helpful as that project's wrapped up. We had two presentations by the town manager. One was a special appropriations report. The other one was a 2019 annual town meeting implementation. Both are kind of connected in that what we were trying to look at was, town meeting has voted on all of these appropriations. They voted for projects to be funded, and our question to the town manager was, can you give us a list of all of the things that are currently open, and let us know where they currently stand. It's not unreasonable, but also I don't think it had really been done before, because there was some tracking of it, but it seems like it needs some refinement, and the work people are doing. I should say it wasn't centralized. I mean, these things were being tracked, but you might have to try to find who knows where it is and what's going on. And so we were looking really for, it was not that it hadn't been done, but we were looking for it all to be put in one place so we could easily keep track of this. So that that's what the town manager is working on. And if you have a lot of department heads involved with these projects, they all kind of have their maybe a slightly different way of tracking it. So just trying to get it all systematized and flowing in a way that was, if you look at it, you can just easily make sense of your current status of all these projects. That's what she's working on, and she's taking the initial steps on it. We definitely have all the projects listed. We have a pretty good idea of where all their current statuses are, but going forward, we just want to make it, flow in a way that's easy for everybody to understand, and make it available to people if they need it. So the 2019 annual town meeting implementation part was all that had been voted specifically during that last town meeting. Where do all those projects currently stand? She gave us a quick report on that as well. Consent agenda is payroll, bill warrants, typical stuff. There's water connection application, and then we just were approving minutes from June 25th. That was it. So once again, thank you guys for allowing me to serve this town. It just has continued to be an amazing experience. I really, really appreciate it. I love it. So if you don't mind leaving comments below or anonymous comments, that'd be helpful, and continue to help us do right by the town, do the best we can. Anything you have to tell us, please do. We need your input. We need your advice. It's all helpful. But otherwise, thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this. Have a wonderful evening or morning whenever you're watching this. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.